Welcome to Java. Thank you kindly for joining me. It's January 23rd, 2025, and it is also Thursday. So, like most mornings, there's quite a bit going on. We've got new adjustments that are still shaking the world globally with the new administration in the United States. We'll be speaking about a few things. The first is to recognize this symbol above here. That is for WorldCoin. It is the Sam Altman cryptocurrency that is tied in with the globe that scans your retina. So, with that, let's go into the markets. Now, this morning we've got our favorite risk indicator we always start with is the MMRI, Mannarino Risk Indicator, back up 310.6. Now, this is not major move. However, it's heading the wrong direction, increasing risk in this market. Now, as we were talking about yesterday, if you happen to see yesterday, I spoke about some green markets and then shifting into a little bit of volatility and possible reversal. But it looks like we might see that this morning or today. Now, fear greed meter is dominated by fear still. However, moving more towards greed. So we've got 44 on that meter at the moment. Now, this is showing an increase in the greed and the money piling in. However, we've got stock futures are kind of dropping at the moment. And we've also got the new president of the United States that is slated to speak at Davos. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Right now, we've got the driver that we are looking that might be movers today are the jobs numbers that we're going to be seeing. And we've got the Federal Open Market Committee. They're coming out with their meeting soon. So those are going to be a bit of a shift. So we've got the 10-year yield at the moment is gaining strength as well as the relative strength of the dollar. And shout out to my friend Reyes in Texas. Thank you kindly for keeping me straight on my order here. So keep an eye on these, particularly 10-year yield. If that strengthens more, we're going to watch a larger hit in the markets here. Now we've got cryptocurrencies kind of leading the way. Bitcoin has dropped down 101.541. It's still above that 100 level. So as long as it stays above there, it's not too much of a concern. If it drops below to the 98, we're going to have to watch a lot more closely from there. Now we're watching the other cryptocurrencies falling along with it in a temporary pullback. Now, speaking of cryptocurrencies, there was the pump and dump, as they're saying, for the meme coins for Trump and Melania that happened during the inauguration. So House Democrats now want an ethics probe over these cryptocurrency projects that people have the option of putting their own money into. And, it's their fault if they lose it. However, they don't see any issue with an ethics probe on insider trading. So a little bit ironic there. So I was speaking on the open about this symbol. This is for WorldCoin. Why am I mentioning this one? This is the Sam Altman founded WorldCoin. This one is rallying, and it is, as this says, defying Bitcoin and Ethereum, because as those two drop, WorldCoin is gaining strength. And this is all on OpenAI's role in Project Stargate. Now, we spoke about this yesterday, and that project is big pharma, big tech, combining forces, and they're looking at getting into artificial intelligence directed and created mRNA vaccines for cancer. So they get your biometrics, they take your DNA, and they say they can create an individual cancer cure for you within 48 hours. So in the larger scheme of things, I think it's just a DNA data collection. We spoke about this a bit last night in the Discord drop, got a few ideas on this one. However, I am not going anywhere near this one. That could literally be the WorldCoin that is spoken of in a very famous book. So with this, let's take a look at the markets. We've got green at the moment. However, NASDAQ is showing most of the strength, but we're watching the futures are also falling with this. Now, I expect gold to gain a little bit more strength. Volatility is increasing and oil is also increasing. Now, that may pull back on the peace treaties that we're kind of looking at. I'll talk about that in a moment. Now, so to speak, jumping across the pond, UK, the business morale is the lowest it's been in 2 years. And this is because the manufacturing sector dropping sharply. This should be no shock to anyone that's paying attention, but they're all shocked for some reason. They've got their manufacturing, it's gone off a cliff, steepest decline over 2 years. They've also got their manufacturing output decreased and new orders falling, especially for exports, which saw the fastest drop since 2020. So that was right after the C19 issue that was had. So as I've been saying, they've been in a recession for a while, as well as Germany, at least for the past about year. Okay, so we've got United States President Trump now going to address the forum. This is in Davos this afternoon. Now, he's going to do this virtually and take questions from the CEOs of Blackstone, Bank of America, Total Energies, Banco Santander, and some larger ones. These are all of the huge companies, the elites, if you will. So we've got NATO Secretary stressing the need with all of these monetary issues for Europe to urgently step up its defense spending. Now, forget about the people at home, forget about the manufacturing and the bolstering of their infrastructures. They are pushing the defense spending. And one should question why that is taking such priority when it hasn't been a major issue for them. Now, we've got Lloyd's CEO Charles Nunn saying the UK needs to accelerate the growth plans, seeing more of a concern for the growth in Europe. Well, that's kind of a given. If your manufacturing is falling off a cliff, Germany's manufacturing has almost come to a halt, and they've got some major issues internally. So, yes, you should definitely be looking into your financial plans. Should have done this long ago, but they're finding themselves in a bit of a spot now. Now, I want to jump over to the other side because I was speaking about this as well. This is kind of a quiet one in the background that I think is major threat. A lot are not looking at this, and it's China. Now, China's halted Brazilian soybean imports from 5 firms. They're all in Brazil. This is off of investing.com. Why is this important? China is the largest global buyer of soybeans, not just soybeans, but also seed oils. And they have cut accepting all their shipments of the crop from Brazil, saying they're failing to meet their phytosanitary standards. So there was either chemicals, something in them, or insects. They haven't clarified what, but they're turning down major amounts of shipments. And the reason that they're doing this in the background is who are they going to buy from instead? Who are they purchasing from instead? They're moving away from BRICS. They are going to be purchasing larger numbers of soybean imports from none other than the United States. Now, they've made promises in the background that they are going to increase their imports, and now they're increasing their buying. This is shifting a lot of the imbalance that they are suffering from because they've got a massive problem with deflation. Now, the United States, I believe, in the background is trying to stem this off by allowing this background balance. This is why they did not claim those tariff issues on the start. Now they're also still talking about these tariffs, but nowhere near the levels that they had initially spoken about. Now, Trump had initially said that he would hit them with 25% tariffs. They're talking about possibly 10, but not until after they make some major purchases. Now, this does a couple of things. First, it imports the goods that they need at lower price. Secondly, it exports their currency, which is massively inflated at the moment, and kind of balancing them out. Third, it does give them this opportunity to do all of this balance prior to these tariffs. So there's a lot of things going on in the background here rather than just not purchasing soybeans. So after that, let's go a little bit more into the calendar we're expecting today is initial jobless claims. This could move because of the Federal Reserve. This prior to market open. This is their number is watching unemployment. Now, speaking of unemployment, there were a lot of job freezing, a lot of job halting in the public sector. So that could kind of show up in these next numbers. It won't show up in this report, but very soon it will. And this is also going to affect, as the market sees it, the cuts. Now, we've got existing home sales coming out and PMI Friday, and these are all shortly after market opens. We'll be watching these as well. Now, the federal workers, it could be the first to lose their jobs or ones that are still on a probationary status, if you will. They're a lot easier to cut those jobs until they go into full mode, if you will. Now, going back over to foreign, we've got more issues with the Bank of Japan expected to raise their interest rates by the most in 18 years. Now, if this doesn't show the severe imbalances that we've got going on right now, I don't know what will. We're on 18, 20-year cycles and larger that they're reacting to. So going back over to Europe, Stellantis supplier CLN, now they are from Italy, asking banks to take a 90% write down on their debt because Stellantis, as you know, they are the makers of like Jeep, automakers. They've been having massive issues. So they're getting hit with a lot of these things. We've got traders piling into supersized rate cut bets from the ECB. They are poised to cut. We'll see what they do. With this, we've also got coming out as well right after this that they're set to face more frequent recessions. Well, they're in one right now. So I don't know how they're going to come out to have multiple recessions. It's kind of a silly thing, but they're in a recession at the moment. It's just a question of what to call it. Now, moving over the other side, we've got Iran now pushing BRICS towards financial sovereignty from the US dollar. And they are doing this with Russia. So bolstering their trade, native currencies, and moving away. We've got some major currency shifts going on. So with this, few more things. In the good news, had Tesla took quite a hit yesterday, but they're also announcing a cyber van now. So that's interesting for that stock. These are just kind of some individuals. We've got Ford recalling the Bronco Sport Maverick over battery concerns, so also not good for them. Now, over to the banks. We've got Ally. Ally is a virtual bank, only online. They dropped their credit card business and they went into profit. So, auto lender selling the credit card business, halting new mortgage loans, abandoning its broader ambition. So, really it's paring down significantly. And as they pare down, it's the only way that they can post profit, also with stock buybacks. So they're calling it the power of focus, but really, this is really a severity measure on the parts. So I think that this is going to spread through banks, and we're going to watch more, as I said before, mergers and acquisitions. Now, with this, we've got Amazon accelerating Indian payments. What this means is payments in India. So they're trying to spread to other countries, BRICS again as well. And Stripe is planning massive layoffs, couple of thousand. So not really good in the underlying right now. So along with all of this, we've got both Putin and Zelensky looking to sway Trump over these deals that they're about to make, because they're still talking about some of his promises. One was to end this. So we'll see how that goes. So with this, wish you all a wonderful trading day, and until I see you again, my friends, stay free.